Hey guys, what's up? Big Mike here, and yeah, nice to have you guys join me again on this flight. Decided to take you guys on a flight from Munich down to Milan Malpensa, and standing here in Munich with the taxi to gate scenery, and also today we'll be flying this wonderful FSLabs A320. I've been waiting for ages for it to come out to P3D version 4, and it's been out for a while. Then I've been doing some flying with it, and yeah, so I'm just glad that I'll be able to take you for a spin. So I just did just before starting this recording, I just brought this aircraft in from Frankfurt. Was nice. It was a nice flight, you know. Just like I mean, if you just like look at the weather, look at the clouds, just like a nice cloud cover, and it was actually quite nice conditions for some cloud surfing. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into the cockpit and yeah, just get started. So here we go. Boom. And here we are. Okay, let me just check one thing. Yeah, okay. I was just checking if that was actually recording. Just wanted to double check. Because sometimes I'm going to have hotkeys mapped to this thing, and I'm using OBS for my video recordings now, and sometimes I just found that it doesn't record when I hit the hotkey for it, but anyway, so okay, so let's get to it. So I arrived from Frankfurt just earlier, and deboarding is complete, and now we're just basically gonna set this aircraft up for its next sector. So let me just go through the motions real quick. They're aligned. Put this on. Yeah, keep that low. I mentioned that in my previous videos. If we have basically 115 or less passengers on board, then you set that to low just to save a bit of fuel. And that is all good. Okay, don't need to check the oxygen. Okay, turn on the flight directors. Okay, let's check the consumables. Okay, what's going on here? There we go. Here we go. So we have 17.5 quarts. Hydraulic fluid is okay. Brake temperatures are fine. Alright. Now let me just check the status. Nah. Cabin temperature, cockpit control only. I don't know why. I think this is like a tiny bug, I guess, because occasionally this pops up. I mean, it's nothing serious. I mean, you can still fly the aircraft, but I don't know. Every now and then this shows up when usually when I'm doing like electrical changeovers, like from APU to external power, or from from APU to engines. It's something something I noticed, but I mean, it's nothing too serious. Anyway, so let's just press on. Yeah, these are off. This is off. This I'm gonna set to above. This is stowed. Okay. So I'll just start by putting in the payload. So payload, or sorry, zero fuel weight today is 56,179, so 56.2. And let's just call up the catering trucks in the meantime, just to do some multiple operations at the same time. And let's just go ahead and program in the FMS. So we are going from Munich to Milan Malpensa, and our alternate is Milan Linate. And our call sign for today is Lufthansa 8 Victor Charlie. And we have a cost index of, I believe it's 20. Yeah, 20. And we'll be cruising at flight level 330. Okay, so onto the route. So we'll be departing at a runway 26 left. And then it's going to be the Turbo 6 Sierra departure. Turbo 6 Sierra. And let's just key in the rest of it. So Yankee 107 to Bakor, then to M984 to Lucille, from which point we begin our star. So we will be arriving on the ILS Zulu 35 right. That'll be this one. And we have the SRN1 hotel arrival. And yeah, transitioning from Lucille. Okay. Insert. And we'll be checking that route shortly anyway, so let me just finish keying in the rest. And now, just put in the route to my alternate. So, it's going to be 35 right. And we're going via the SRN 5 Lima, no sorry, 5 Sierra. Okay. What does my flight plan route say? Okay, time to bring out the Milan Malpensa charts real quick, because my OFP does not really designate which transition I'll be flying. So let me just check it out real quick. Okay, just downloading the charts on my iPad, and here we go. So, it was the SRN 5 Sierra. Where does that take me? So SRN 5 Sierra. Okay. Okay, I don't think I'm meant to take any transitions. So insert that, and then from there we go to Ori. Which I think is this one. They're coming. Okay, guys, this is coming back to my original point from all of my videos. None of this is rehearsed, so Okay, well, I'm assuming it's probably that, but we'll check it out on the chart anyway, so... And then from there... It's the... You'll be arriving on to... runway 36. And... we'll be going beyond... this one here. Apparently. Okay, turn on the constraints, and now let me just scroll through the plan, just to see if it all makes sense. Okay, so here you guys get a feel for what the routing is going to look like. Okay. Yep, that looks good. And now to the route to the alternate. See if that makes sense. Okay, so they want me to fly to Ori, and then to Oscar, and then it goes basically back. Tell you what, I'm just gonna get rid of Ori, and we're just gonna fly to Oscar directly. Because that route does not make sense. Anyway. This is roughly what my alternate route is going to look like, but it's just one of those things that it's good to have as a backup, but hopefully you'll never need it. Alright. So, now, let me just lay out my charts, which I need, and then I'm just going to go through the plan one more time, just to make sure that all the restrictions and level changes are on there. Find the correct charts. Okay, that's one of them. Okay, are the catering trucks going to come? Catering vehicles on the way. Well, they're taking they're taking a long time. Where are they at? Huh. Okay, may have to skip the catering. As I said, none of this is rehearsed, so if things happen, they happen for real. Okay, so now setting up the charts for Munich. There we go. Turbo 6 Sierra. Alright, so just reviewing the charts. Okay, 1900 and above, that's all in there. And then thereafter there's nothing. And now let me just check Milan again. Okay, so no restrictions at all anywhere. Except at Regon. Okay. It all checks out. So... Okay, I don't think my GSX is working properly. Let me just restart it real quick. But I'm just going to restart GSX real quick because I don't think it's working properly. Okay, at least the gate is still there. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and skip the catering bit because I don't know what's going on there. So, anyway. Now on to the next page. And we'll have a zero fuel weight of... what did I say, 56.2. And the zero fuel weight CG, that'll come in later, once we theoretically get our load sheet from the ramp agent. Right. And we'll have a block fuel of 6 tons. And we'll be starting refueling shortly. So my alternate fuel, okay, that is good. And we have a headwind component of 3 knots. Okay, I'm just going to note down the takeoff weight, which is 62.0 tons. I'll be needing that for my takeoff performance calculation. And let me just restart or start the fueling process. So 6 tons. So now we're refueling. What's going on here? Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, GSX is hooked up to recognize fueling systems of the aircraft, and yeah, now it's going to call up the fuel truck while I'm refueling. Let's see how that goes. Okay, because possibly it may have some issues with that now, that I didn't do it in the correct order. Oh well. At least we can restart GSX if need be. So, anyway. Okay, after we did that, let's just check the position monitor. Yep. All our IRSs are accurate. Okay, that looks good. Okay, still waiting for that. And you see flight time is about 48 minutes, so this should be a somewhat short flight. Okay, this we will enter at a later stage, just making sure that all these check out, which they do. Let me just reset the altimeter. Yeah, roughly 1,500 feet above, yeah. Alright, let me just do my radio setup, my nav setup for the departure. So, okay, I will need DMS on the left side. Okay. Huh. Won't let me select it. Okay, well, in that case, can I hard select Munich? Yes. Okay. It'll let me select Munich, but not Delta Mike Sierra. Interesting. Anyway. Okay, now let's just copy the active flight plan. That is a new functionality with this version of FSLabs, that now it supports also the secondary flight plan function. So now you can do all funky stuff with it. Like for example, what I usually do with it is set up basically a flight plan back to the departure airport in case of I don't know, let's say an engine failure or so. So let's go to Delta Mike 049. Enter Munich as a new destination, and we'll be coming back on 26 left. No star and no vias. Basically, I just want a nice, clean... Yeah. So basically that's it. I just want a nice, clean plan so that I can activate it if need be. Just in order to save some time. So, this is set to VOR, this is set to VOR, that is good. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do my performance calculation. Okay, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to be starting up a couple of things. I don't know if you guys can see it, but just starting up a number of things in the background, a number of programs, which I forgot. Whoops. Here we go. So, we're departing out of Munich, 26 left, get the latest weather. Okay. Looks good, it's a dry runway, and our takeoff weight is 62 tons. And let me just note down these performance figures real quick. Okay, so it'll be flex 59, 145, 145, 147, and it'll be with flaps 1. Okay, there we go, refueling is complete. Ah, that's what I thought. Now it's going to keep on loading, even though refueling has been completed. Tell you what, I'm just going to restart GSX. And we're going to start the boarding process right now. Okay. Wait a minute. No, I am. Okay, wait. It's already docked, so. Oh boy. There's always something that seems to go wrong. So anyway, I'm just going to connect up to IVAO. So, connect. And let me just see, so far no one's online. I'll have to verify that shortly. Anyway, let me just hammer in all the performance stuff. So, 145, 145, and 147. And it'll be flaps 1. Trim setting will be doing that, figuring that out after we get our fictitious load sheet, and we'll be departing with flaps 1. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I mean 59 degrees. There we go. Okay. So, let me just set everything up the way I need it. Okay. And I just want to verify that indeed there is no one online. Yep, so far nobody's online in Munich, and let me just check Milan. Also nobody in Milan. Oh well. Okay. So now it's time for the quick and dirty departure briefing. So, departure briefing. We're in Airbus A320 departing out of runway 26 left in Munich via the Turbo 6 Sierra departure. Climb on 261 bearing to Mike Sierra Echo or 1900, whichever is later, then turn left, heading 178, intercept Munich radial 323, inbound Munich, then turn right, Munich, and track Munich radial 159er inbound to Turbo, initial climb, flight level 70. And in case of engine failure, we will pretty much do the same, and except that we'll enter a hold over Munich and request radar vectors into for the ILS 26 left. And landing weight is not an issue. And in case of a rejected takeoff, so the runway in Munich is about, oh boy, come on. Is about, yeah, it's 4,000 meters long, and with my takeoff performance calculations, they gave me a stop margin of about 2,000 meters, so that is plenty of space for us. So actions are: before 100 knots, abort for any malfunction; before V1, abort for engine fire or failure, or aircraft becomes uncontrollable. Actions are: I call stop, thrust levers idle, max reverse, come to a full stop, set parking brake, and start procedure. Okay, departure briefing is complete. Alright. So, now we're just literally waiting for the boarding to complete. So, let's just get some outside views. Look at that, the Airbus 320 in the sunshine. Now, this is an aircraft that I've been waiting for a long time to come out on P3D version 4. I mean, you guys know that from my previous videos, I've been using the FSLabs quite heavily, and isn't that a nice view? I can always rely on ChasePlane. And anyway, so and I really love. I'm just a huge Airbus fan to begin with, anyway. So so when I was like flying it back then, when I was using FSX Steam Edition, it's like every now and then I always had out of memory issues with that aircraft. So at some point, that's when I decided to just basically move over to P3D, because I was kind of having enough of the instabilities that are associated with FSX. And so I got, back then I had the P3D version 3, which I was quite happy with, and then at some point they announced, oh, isn't that a nice view? Hang on, I'm just gonna take a screenshot of that. And at some point they came out with version 4, and I was just like, well, that's a bit unlucky, because I'd only had bought it not all too long ago. But then after checking the refund policy, I just saw, oh, wait a minute, if you if you bought it within 60 days or something like that, then you can get a full refund, and I just happened to be on day 55 or 56, so I was damn lucky. So I managed to get a refund and got myself P3D version 4. And however, then of course the FSLabs 320 wasn't compatible with that, and it was a long wait until then. Oh, another screenshot moment. So it was a long wait until then, and then at some point finally the FSLabs got released for P3D version 4, and yeah, so I've been flying the... Wow, that's interesting. I didn't realize that they even modeled the insides of the terminal. Okay, that's interesting. Did not realize that. Anyway, yeah, so then just been doing heavy flying with that aircraft, and I mean, I've been, before I returned back to the FSLabs, I was flying quite extensively with X-Plane, flying the 737 from IXEG, and then also on P3D I was flying the PMDG 747. So like there was a period of a couple of months where basically I did not fly any Airbus of sorts, so I just kind of was a bit out of practice with the 320. So it was again a bit of a learning curve to try and get back into the Airbus mode of things, and yeah. So yeah, and then now I decided to, you know what? Let me just start making videos with the Airbus 320 and show you guys around. So anyway, let's just hop back into the cockpit, see how much longer the boarding will take, because I'm hoping to be able to depart at in the next 10 minutes or so. So anyway, let's just check the payload real quick. 54.1. That is not... that's another quirk of GSX with the FSLabs, because now I'm also doing a lot of multi-sector flights, back-to-back flights without restarting the sim. And the thing is that with GSX is, because the GSX and FSLabs, they're like, how should I say, intertwined with each other. So basically when you start the deboarding or the boarding process, it actually updates the zero fuel weight for you. So if you deboard it, it gives you an empty zero fuel weight. And if you start boarding, you can basically kind of like preset the zero fuel weight you want to have. So what I did is I put in 56.2 tons, and then when you start boarding, it will empty the aircraft real quickly, and then it'll just basically simulate the passengers actually getting on the aircraft, and it'll stop at around 56.2 tons. What I discovered is that that only works for the first flight of the day. Any subsequent flights with that, it doesn't do that. It just, because this was my zero fuel weight when I departed out of Frankfurt just earlier this morning. So yeah. So I'm just going to wait for the boarding to complete, and then I'm just going to reset that to 56.2. So, or I think, no, hang on, I think now you know what? You know what? Let's try resetting it now already. Will it do anything? Okay, it accepted it, and GSX didn't break down. Cool. Okay, so this is our zero fuel weight CG. Yeah, I am just going to cheat and just copy that over like that. So now I got that value in there, and now I can basically do as if we received our load sheet already. And just note this down, so our gross weight CG is 24.6. And okay, I'm just going to go over to the door section, and have these guys finished yet? Oh, yeah, seems like it. So we can close the cargo doors. Okay, let me just refer to my takeoff CG versus trim position chart. I have a printout over here. I know one could also refer to that because it's the same printout that's over here on the throttle quadrant. It's the same printout which I have here lying on my desk. However, I just find it a bit difficult to read, so it's just easier for me to refer to my printout. So we have 24.6. 24.6. That gives me about let's say 0.7 up. So up 0.7. Okay, before I do that. So there we go, slash, and then up to 0.7. Okay, so now we are literally just waiting for the boarding to complete. Which should be any moment, hopefully. Yeah, I guess we could do a walk around in the meantime, just to kill some time, and also inspect the aircraft from up close. I mean, the textures are just, I mean, the textures of this aircraft are also just phenomenal. So, I mean, they were already really good back with FSX, but now, I don't know, they just seem to, I don't know, just come across as even, like, a bit more crisp. I don't know, overall, FSLabs, they did an outstanding job with this aircraft. It is by far my most favorite aircraft out there. Although I'm connected to IVAO, It's a shame that there's not that much traffic around here. Feels a bit empty. Oh well. I'm recording this video around Monday noon, so most of the people are off at work around that time. So today's just happens to be one of my off days. So I mean, just look at that. There's the sunshine. But what I really find so cool is that they also simulated, I mean, you hear that clicking sound? I mean, that they actually simulated the, not just the fan blades windmilling, but also the sound that comes with it. Overall, awesome aircraft. Well, let's see if we can do this. So. And just walk into the aircraft. Oh, here's the boarding music. It just clips the aircraft a bit too much. Oh well. Well, let's just go for some wing views. There we go. And listen to the boarding music. Oh well, let's jump back into the cockpit, shall we? Okay. What else is there to show about this aircraft? Oh, here we go, boarding complete. Haha. Okay, well, let's just close the doors before it starts moaning at me. And let me just set the parking brakes real quick. And let's start the APU. And let's just get rid of the gate. There we go. There goes the gate. Okay, just waiting for the APU to start up, then we can disconnect everything and be on our way. Okay, there's the pushback tug. That's another thing that what I find is a shame about GSX is similar to, like with X-Plane 11, the better pushback tool, there you can tell it to just basically have the pushback truck connect to the aircraft, but not to do anything, so basically it's just ready there on standby, so that once you request pushback clearance, then all you gotta do is just tell the pushback vehicle, okay, off we go. Because sometimes there's like a bit of, I don't know, waste a bit of time sometimes when I call for startup, and then I request pushback clearance, and then I call this tug to connect and push me back. So sometimes what I try and do is just to save time, I tell this thing to, okay, start pushback, and then I have to try my best to make sure that I request my pushback clearance in time. and if there's any delay, like for example a crowded frequency or so, then I have this pushback tug basically telling me the entire time to release the parking brakes, and it's just all, and you know that annoying beeping sound that GSX likes to make just when it tries to give you reminders. So yeah, it would be nice if we could just have a function to say, okay, just connect the pushback tug, but don't do anything yet. Anyway, so let's just select that. Okay, now I'm just gonna check one last time. Is there any ATC online? Negative. Okay. So here, this is what I'm talking about. So now I'm just gonna start pushback. Prepare for pushback. I want to go nose left. That's another thing. And then sometimes if I tell it to already to start pushback, and then ATC tells me, okay, here pushback in unexpected direction, then I'm kind of stuck with having to restart GSX and tell it to then start pushing me back in a different direction. Anyway, so before start checklist: gear pins removed, computer static checked, signs on auto, fuel 5,980 kilograms, altimeters 1013 1,500, takeoff data inserted 145 147, beacon on, parking brake on, mobile off before start checklist complete. Okay, no traffic far and wide. Here we go.
Departure check completed. Flight estimate inserted. Release parking brakes.
Parking brakes released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start that wheel.
Okay, engine start. Okay, I'm just going to wait till he pushes us back a bit further down. And also just checking no traffic. Okay, here we go. So, engine 2 start. Engine 1 starts.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brakes are set.
Unlocking gear.
After start, items flaps 1.
Flight must be removed.
That's always a bit tricky. There we go. So always get the flat trim setting. So, flight control check.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Full left. Full right. Neutral. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Okay, after start checklist. Anti-ice off. Trim 0.7 up and 0 flight controls checked. After start checklist complete. Taxi. Okay. So clear left, clear right. Okay, we got. Let's assume we got the thumbs up. Off we go. Let me just cross-check something with my flight plan. Okay, so minimum takeoff fuel is 4 tons roughly. Okay. Let's just keep that in mind. Okay, we can turn that on already. I don't know why the bridges are highlighted like that in the scenery. I think maybe it has something to do with my shader settings that somehow doesn't recognize. I don't know, doesn't cast a shadow onto the bridges. But apart from that, the scenery looks neat. Okay. Takeoff checklist. Takeoff, all green, flaps 1 plus F, packs on engines. Okay, we're coming up on the de-icing pads, and we should be able for, then we're going to go for a Bravo 1-4. So that here should be Bravo 1-3. I think, yeah, that's Bravo 1-3. We're gonna go for Bravo 1-4. Or never mind, we can go Bravo 1-3. The same difference. So I'm just gonna turn all that on already. Normally you do that just before entering the runway, but since this is a single pilot operations, kind of have to compromise. Oh, there's someone on approach. Okay. I'm just gonna hold short. let me just cross-check that on the way by. In that case, turn off the strobes again.
Left.
Where is he coming in? Oh no, he's coming in on another runway. Okay. We're cool. Okay, disregard. False alarm. He's coming in on a different runway. Okay. Everything is on. And the approach sector was clear.
On runway 26 left.
A bit of a stutter in this in the graphics. Well, anyway, without further ado, takeoff. Manflex 59 SRS auto thrust blue. Thrust set. $100. B1, rotate. Positive climb, gear up. Give us some more altitude, so 150 blue. Autopilot on. Flap 0. And altimeter standard 5-1. I don't know, frames are a bit stuttering. It wasn't that bad this morning when I flew down to Munich, so I don't know if there's something different. And oh, great. I didn't reset the time for my previous flight. fine. Let's go all the way up to the cruising level. So 330 blue. So here's our top of climb, and there's already our top of descent. So it's a nice short flight. Oh well, so let me just check if everything is there where it should be. And the clouds just look very nice. I mean, now I kind of regret that I didn't record the flight from Frankfurt down to Munich, because there I was just, because I was there just cruising at 230, and I don't know, just like the way the clouds were made up, I was just like basically just cloud surfing almost all the way, and that just looked so gorgeous. Well, anyway, we can see a little bit of the Alps over there, showing up over there. I don't know, let's just see if they're just, you know, if they're cloud covered or if we get to see something on the ground. Oh well, at least we can see the mountain tops. Should be a nice scenic flight. Yeah, there it is again, the awkward silence. Because that's at least the cool thing about doing like super short flights, like the ones which I did in the past, like from Frankfurt to Stuttgart or Leipzig to Munich, and you know, stuff like that. Frankfurt, Düsseldorf. There, it's like the flights are short enough so that it's like basically you don't run out of things to talk about, but. Now it's just, yeah. So like on longer flights, it's just like, yeah, at some point you just kind of run out of things to talk, and then you just have like this awkward silence. But I don't really also want to just, you know, cut up my video, because of two reasons actually. I tried that with my 747 video from Stansted to Frankfurt. Just tried out something new, and it's a whole lot more effort. It's like, I don't know if I want to actually spend that much time just, you know, editing videos and whatnot, even though it was nothing special, just, you know, just like cut up the video and you know, just put in a couple of transitions from one scene to the next. I mean, nothing fancy at all, but still, the way I see it is, this is just basically I mean, a lot of my videos, or most, or actually all of my videos, just, you know, start out with just me spontaneously, or okay, roll back. It usually starts like, okay, I have an idea what I want to fly, because what I do is I usually do multi-sector flying, and so I basically pre-plan the day before, usually, like where I want to fly to, and then I do, you know, between 2 and 4 sectors in a day, back to back, and then sometimes if I feel like it, then I just say, okay, hey, you know what, why don't I just whip on my recording software and just take you guys along for a ride. I mean, that's the whole idea, that's the whole crux of my YouTube channel, at least for the time being. Heaven knows what the future will bring. If my channel grows, heaven knows what I'm going to do with it, but at the moment the idea is that it's just basically, yeah, just have you guys join me along the ride, as in like, you know, just like, taking, you know, just sitting down on the jump seat and just enjoying the ride. And that's the whole idea behind it. I mean, the things that I don't have a schedule of when I upload videos or when I make videos and so on, it's just all basically spontaneous, because I don't want this to just basically get out of hand. It's just, you know, it's like, I do this because I enjoy it, and I want to basically, you know, share you know, it's like my flights with you guys on YouTube. So no, let's go take a look at the Alps. Oh, look at that, snow-covered mountaintops. Beautiful. Okay, let's just go for some more outside views. Yeah, a bit of clipping in the scenery, the clouds, so clouds clipping into the mountain, but oh well. Let's just go for some wing views. Oh, nice and quiet. That's another thing what they also simulated well, is just like the transition from outside to inside. That is like when you're in the cabin, then it's not that loud. So I don't know, overall, I mean, the guys from FSLabs, you know, we gotta hand it to them. They made an outstanding aircraft. I wonder, I suppose what I could do is, although I have to figure out the logistics of that, is just like do a passenger flight, you know, basically from the wing view, like a time lapse from, you know, like from A to B or something like that. Wonder if that would be worthwhile. Oh well. Back to the cockpit. Just want to make sure that everything is in order. Wow, look at the Alps. Look at that. Now also FSLabs are working on an Airbus A319, and they also showed a couple of like teaser pictures a while back, and man, I can't wait till that one comes out. Actually, I'd be really happy if they would do the entire Airbus 320 family, because that'd be awesome. So from the A319 to the A321, that'd be awesome. Okay, just hang on. Just getting a phone call. Even though I put everything on mute. Okay, I am back. I don't know if someone tried to prank call me or if there was a wrong number. Someone, that is also just so typical. Yeah, 2,000 to go, and that is also so typical. So whenever I make videos, I just make sure that basically I mute. I basically put everything on Do Not Disturb mode. So my iPad, my iPhone, and just make sure that is on Do Not Disturb mode, and anything else that could basically disturb me, I just try to mute it. And then of course my landline phone. So my landline, that telephone never ever rings. No one ever calls me up on that telephone. Hardly ever. I mean, really, just like in the last year, like maybe I don't know, like I got 3 or 4 phone calls on that landline. It is totally, I don't even know why I still have it. And then of course, sure enough, the day I decide to to record a video, it has to ring. Someone has to ring me up. It was also from a number I didn't recognize, so whatever. So we're coming up on our top of climb. And judging by, so we are already overhead Italy. So we cross Austria, and these are now the Italian Alps. And there's our top of descent already. So, Alt star. Excuse me. Okay, just hang on. Let me just have a sip of water, my throat's dry. Okay, and there you have it. So I'm just going to set that to below already because we're going to be descending relatively shortly anyway. There's some other traffic. Let me just check out on IVAO. That's someone flying from Barcelona to Innsbruck in a 747. Have fun with that, sir. And still no one online in Milan. Okay. That is fine by me. Okay, so let me just start my descent preparations. Okay, so let me just call up the weather for my destination and my alternate. Okay, so that's about half an hour ago. Okay, so 0 to 0 at 1.5. Okay, Cavoquet, 13 degrees. Oh yeah, it was definitely warmer than it's definitely warmer down there than it was in Munich. So anyway, let's just put that in. And my alternate, weather is also pretty much the same. So QNH 1002. Temperature 13, and the wind 0 to 0 at 1.5. 0 to 0 at 1.5. Okay, and the transition level with such a QNH, I don't know. I'm just gonna make an educated guess. 8,000. Put that on. Okay, so that was that. Okay. And now we wait for the top of descent. And wow, okay. Seems like this cloud cover is messing with my frame rates, because normally, or maybe it's also because I'm recording. I think that could also be part of it, because I'm recording with OBS. That somehow the frames are basically just taking a dump, because normally it's a lot more fluid. My frame rates are a lot more fluid. Oh well. I'll just have to see how it goes. Maybe I'll have to edit some settings or so. Okay, so our top of descent is in about 40 miles. Okay, GPS primary accuracy high, that's also good. And there we go, top of descent in 40 miles. It's like, oh yeah. I actually had that question asked of me a couple of times now. Because like with a Boeing, you know, 737 or 747 or whatever, you have the, it's like you have the distance countdown to the top of descent showing on the FMS on the progress page. And people were like kind of making fun of it on Airbus that you don't have such a thing. And well, ladies and gentlemen, here on the cruise page, on the performance page, on the cruise page, there you have it. You have a digital readout. so just for those of you who were asking and who didn't believe me, there it is. Okay. So in about 4 minutes we'll be reaching our top of descent, and as far as I can see there won't be any traffic getting in our way. Let's hope it stays like that, because if there's one thing that I can't stand is actually two things. I may have mentioned that in one of my previous videos. One of them is other traffic cutting you off, even though it's absolutely clear that okay, you are the next in the queue. Like let's say you're established on final or whatnot, and then someone just basically just cuts you off, and then just comes right in ahead of you. I mean, that really rubs me the wrong way. And another thing that also rubs me the wrong way is, let's say you're doing a flight, okay? So you're flying from A to B, not a care in the world, everything's going fine. You prepare for your approach. You see that, okay, there's no traffic online, there's also no controller online. Okay, so far so good. And I actually had that happen to me when I was approaching Valencia once. Okay, so no traffic online, no controller online, whatnot, so I just vector myself onto the ILS. So gear down, flaps 3, flaps full, landing checklist. Okay, then I'm doing, flying manually. Okay, manual flight. And then at around 500 feet or so, all of a sudden, Valencia Tower comes online and hails me to contact him. And I'm just like, well, there's not that much I can do at that point, because I was like maybe like, 400, 300 feet above. I'm flying by hand. Tower is telling me to contact him. I'm just like, sorry mate. I don't have time to dial in your frequency and also to put in a squawk code or whatnot, so I kind of contacted him after the fact, after I landed. And I mean, he was all cool about it. I mean, he understood where I was coming from, so I mean, no hard feelings there. But that just occasionally happens, and that just annoys me. So, okay, let's just select a nice intermediate altitude, or sorry, flight level. And then at around 5, I'm going to initiate the descent. Here we go. So, okay, flight level 130 blue, and here we go, going down. Oh wow, man, these frames are atrocious. Okay, it must be because of the recording software. I like to, like I like to start my descent like about 5 miles or so before the top of descent, because that already basically establishes me in a descent. And then here you have basically the descent path, and just come down, catches up with me, and then the aircraft starts following it. Whereas if I would start it, you see, here we go, here it comes down. I mean, it oscillates a little bit, but then eventually the aircraft will capture it, and then it'll follow that, and it gives me like a nice and steady descent. Whereas if I would initiate the descent right at the top of descent, or even slightly after that, then the aircraft will do all sorts of things to just try and catch the descent path when descending in managed mode, and that's the mode which I usually like to descend in. It's basically the equivalent of VNAV on Boeing, and then starts to, basically tries to dive bomb and tries to capture the descent path with descent rates of like over 3,000 feet a minute, which I don't think is too comfortable for the passengers, if you guys know what I'm saying. So anyway, I'm just reviewing a few things on the side here with my charts, just making sure that all is okay. Just setting up my radios for the approach. Now let's go for some outside views. Okay, that was sudden, the way the the contrails just suddenly stop. Oh well, I'm gonna hop back inside. Whoa! Yeah. Seems to do that. I think that's more of a ChasePlane thing. God, how I love this airplane. So we have a decision altitude of 891 feet. Okay. Alright, so quick and dirty approach briefing. Okay, this is going to be ILS approach runway 35 right in Milan. Final altitude is 4,000 feet. Descent starts at 10.6 DME of Mike Lima. Oh, sorry, basically the ILS, Mike Lima Papa. And outer marker check altitude is 2,110 feet. And the middle marker check altitude is 920 feet. And the minimum is 891 feet. And in case of missed approach, climb on 348 to 1,450, then turn right as soon as possible to join radial 024 of Mike Papa, climbing to 3,000. At 3,000, not further than 7 DME or radials on radial 024 of Mike Papa. Turn right to Sierra Romeo November VOR, maintain 3,000 until 5 DME of Sierra Romeo November, then climb to 4,000. They always have to make these procedures so complicated. And MSA is 10,000 to the northwest, 8,000 to the northeast, and 3,000 to the south. And this will be with flaps full, auto brakes low. Approach briefing complete. And I'm just going to take her down to our transition level. on. And wow, man, these frames. I'll have to look into that. I'm just going to put on the terrain on ND, because there is some high terrain around here. Engine NTIs on. There we go. Let's do some cloud surfing, shall we? Excuse me. Engine NTIs off. Oh. There seems to be some kind of sports stadium over there. You guys from that area probably know which one this is. I have no clue. Anyway, yeah, engine NTIs on again. Select 4,000. And wait, is that the QNH? No. 1002. The altimeters. 1002, 8,500. Turn down the brightness of the terrain radar, or the terrain map, sorry. And one last check, is there any air traffic online? Nope, doesn't seem it. Okie doke. And engine NTIs off. Now it's warm enough. Anyway, just about. 12,000. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and activate approach phase already. Just give the aircraft plenty of time to decelerate. And if possible, without having to use speed brakes. And I'm just going to vector myself on the ILS, because I don't like these turns that this thing is about to, you know, suggesting I do. Okay, lock star. Okay, flaps 1. Status clear. There's the runway. Straight ahead. Okay, glide slope star. Okay, and missed approach altitude of 3,000 is set. Flaps 2. Gear down. Flaps 3. Whoa. Bit turbulence. Flaps full. A bit of turbulence around here. So let's see how the landing goes. So landing checklist, landing all green, flaps full. Auto thrust off.
1000.
Checked. And autopilot off. Manual flight.
Approaching. 3, 5, right.
A bit high, but correcting.
500. 400. 300. 100 above.
We'll be fine.
Minimum.
Continue.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard, retard, 10, 5,
Spoilers, reverse green, decel. Nah, no, that was an okay-ish touchdown. 70. Manual braking. Nah. I've done better approaches in the Airbus.
1,200 meters remaining.
I've done better approaches, but this was also nah. I'll take it. Let's put it that way, I'll take it. After landing items. It's always a lot easier if you have if it's a lot easier to do all these things at the same time when you have someone to help you. Okay. I don't know how they would normally, taxi here in Milan, so I'm just gonna make my own way to the gates. Alright, so here we are in Milan. Yeah, I mean, the approach, it was okay. I mean, towards the end, I was a bit high, pretty much like always 1 dot above the glide, but had visual contact with the runway at all times, so decided to continue the approach. And, yeah. I mean, the flare and the touchdown, wasn't the best, but I'll take it. And also what made it a bit more difficult is because of a slight frame rate lag. I also found that basically all my control inputs, they're then also a bit they're also lagging a bit. They're a bit behind, so that makes it all more interesting. Okay, so we're going to cross the runway over here. Oh, okay, I could cross the runway straight ahead as well. Okay, brake temperatures are fine. Okay, turn on the strobes. And then once we're on the other side, I'm going to start the APU. As far as I can see, no one is approaching. Okay.
Approaching. 17. Right.
And I have no clue which gate they usually park at over here, so I'm just going to choose the gate of my liking. And I'm just gonna start the APU. Turn off the strobes. So I'm on taxiway Romeo. And that's Kilo over there. I have a feeling that Lufthansa, they park down that way. But again, I'm just making an educated guess. Shame that there was no traffic and no controller online. Thought that was a bit of a shame. But can't have everything. Now I'm going to take one of these gates on the right. I'll take the next right. Gate 510. Parking checklist. All engines off. Radar off. Parking brakes off. Parking checklist complete. just open up for some fresh air, shall we? Oh, I love the sound. Okay, let's call up GSX. Request deboarding. Not too sure which one that was. Oh. No, these are normal jetways, I guess. Okay. I thought those were SOD animated jetways. Okay, let's open up the cargo doors for them. Yeah. And then once the gate has docked, I'll open up the doors. Yeah, take it easy. I'll open the doors, don't worry. Just want to let the gate dock. Alright, let's open it up. Let's go for some outside views. Here we go. Alright. Okay, I don't know what you guys thought of this flight. I thought it was a quite neat flight. You know, it's because I don't know, I'm just a huge fan of these short sectors. And thank you, cinematic view. And I'm just generally a huge fan of these doing these short hops. Kind of keeps you busy all the way along. And yeah, so yeah, departure out of Munich. Yeah, I mean, as you guys saw, pretty uneventful. But and then just skimming the clouds and then flying over the Alps. I thought that was neat, and also the descent and the approach into Milan was quite nice. Although just on the later last part of the final, was a bit of a buff glide, but I mean that was nothing too tragic. And also the touchdown was I thought it was okay. Certainly done worse, and it's one that I'll take. And look at the clouds glitching out in the background. There are settings that I really need to optimize with my flight sim. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this flight, and so please feel free to leave a thumbs up and subscribe, and hope to see you guys soon. So tune in next time, and until then, take it easy, happy landings, and clear skies.